Afternoon. Hope you had a good day ahead. Okay. Cool. Okay. Okay. So this is my first time in SQL Bits, and I'm very excited. Maybe in the next 20 minutes, I'll try to contain my excitement. The topic that I'm going to present today is augmenting Power BI adoption through Center of Excellence. And before that, let me introduce myself. I am Siang Prova, Swayam. I'm a program manager in Microsoft Fabric Customer Advisory Team. This session is all about what I have learned working within a COE, Center of Excellence team, in my earlier stint, and last couple of years working in Microsoft, engaging with customers in COE conversations. Right now, I wanted to have a quick show of hands about who knew about Power BI Center of Excellence. But okay. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Good. So for those who have raised their hands, I'm quite sure you will be able to relate to what I'm going to present today. And for those who haven't, maybe you will learn about what COE is all about and its journey and other things. Right. Good. So let me begin with a question here. Is Center of Excellence a must have for organizations? In my experience, believe me, no. Um, Neither it is a must nor it's a one size fits all endeavor, right? Whether such a dedicated product team is actually needed for an organization depends on organization's alignment with its business goals. Um, of course, how Power BI is used throughout the organization, its usage, its data architecture, right? And the tool usage as such, right? So, say for medium to large enterprises where there is huge Power BI adoption and Power BI usage is growing, there are different types of personas of users that are using the tool, and there's a huge platform to manage premium capacities, large user base to cater to, etc. Say where the data platform is huge, the data architecture in those organizations are huge. Maybe that's where there is necessity of data governance, security, compliance at every layer that data is exposed to. Um, I would say in such organizations, a central team really makes a good idea to actually manage the platform as a whole or the tool as a whole, the product as a whole. On the other hand, a dedicated team might be an overinvestment if the user base for Power BI is small, say. They don't have a big platform to manage. For example, say they have small user base and no premium capacities, user base licensing, those kind of things. Um, or the main idea of those organizations might be to focus on core business processes, right? Or they might have alternate support strategy. They might have a IT or a BI team which can manage everything, from governance to training, etc. So, but let's talk about the motivation. Let's talk about um, why should an organization invest in a COE, and that these motivation can be triggered by the challenges when an organization has decided to have Power BI as a strategic reporting tool, say, right? So challenges like uneven adoption, right? Users resisting to new technology, hesitant to invest time and effort to learn that new technology, or different personas of users having this knowledge gap, you know, sometimes even facing issues to get started. The lack of centralized support system in these cases can leave users feel lost, right? And they won't be able to get any kind of support without a centralized team. Say the next can be dysfunctional data culture. You can imagine without central governance teams, different business departments, business teams developing their own Power BI solutions, right? This might result in creating data silos. The more the data silos are, the more business run inefficiently, the more they have collaboration issues, right? And this, along with other poor data governance practices, can lead to unreliable data, right? Inaccurate reports, and which mainly causes due to inconsistent practices, the best practices not known. Um, um, there are many data quality issues, etc., etc. Now, what this does is this increases the distrust and a negative perception of the tool. Have you heard about people blaming the tool that their product is not working, or the reports are not running, or reports running slow? Power BI is the culprit. This happens mainly because of dysfunctional data culture, right? Misuse of technology is the next one. Um, how does misuse of technology occurs? I think mostly because um, there are designs of poor design of reports, suboptimal designs, suboptimal implementations, and this causes immense harm in credibility, the tool itself, the solution itself, in the um, in the authors who create the reports, right? And there's huge rework needed, total waste of time, effort, energy. Now, this does not comes from just untrained users. Remember, there are ill-disciplined business users who um, who do not implement the best practices, do not follow the guidelines, right? Do not follow the protocols. So, without an established data ownership or a best practice guidelines, standardized best practices, access controls, and security protocols, users might get derailed from the actual um, implementation um, goals. And there's always risk of sensitive data getting accessed and manipulated by unauthorized users. What else? We have lock potential. Is it not working? Okay. So perfect. Okay. So lock potential. Lock potential is all about how Power BI is not, utilized to its true potential. The features that it provides us, the capabilities that it has, and Power BI is growing, right? Every time, every month, there are new features. Every week, there is new capabilities added, and these capabilities might be a lot of time are actually can save cost, can optimize your reports, can optimize the whole solution, right? Now they need to be timely harnessed, right? Otherwise it would simply be a missed cost saving opportunity. Not only the platform, I feel the business needs are also very changing, right? So as the tool grows, business needs also grow, and both have to be compatible with each other. Both have to work together to make this happen. So, okay, remember that these challenges just does not vanish if a COE team is there. It's a continued process, and overcoming these challenges takes time, right? But one thing is for sure, a COE team can help um, resolving these issues, right? Now, that's why the advantages. Okay. Now, let's talk through it quickly. Um, efficient user training and adoption, right? The COE can provide comprehensive training programs, adoption strategy for users at various skill level, for users who belong to different, say personas, right? Data analyst, business analyst, for a developer, just a report author, right? And after that, you have standardized best practices where you can establish best practices, templates, style guides, controls on access, control on security, and this ensures consistency and clarity in Power BI adoption. Community building and collaboration is also very important, which can be achieved through COE. Um, delivering Power BI potential, as I said, Power BI has to, through research and innovation, a COE can help business teams leverage Power BI as much as possible as much as the tool provides. Centralized data governance and security. The COA can implement data governance policies, data quality checks, security protocols, regulating the tenant settings, say, and of course can also provide means of monitoring user activity, conduct audits. And of course, constant communication and engagement is one of the major scope of responsibilities for COE, to see how new features um, can be leveraged in different business scenarios, right? COE fostering a continuous improvement and innovation. This whole data culture can be a way where COE can help organizations to drive data culture as a whole, right? Okay. Let's talk about the structure, and I just quickly drew up something to help understand, and I would like to share it because this is an important part of how COE functions, right? Um, for your information, Microsoft adoption framework suggests different approaches on how a COE can be formed. However, I'll share what I felt worked for a lot of organizations. It has worked for my previous organization from my experience. Now, most organizations start with a centralized COE approach. So there is a single team with various roles managing different initiatives, standardization, platform management, etc. And there is a single point of accountability. Now, with time, due to complexity of organizational structure, say managing global adoption and expectation and business expectation, such as centralized structure might be inefficient, right? In some cases, I have seen escalations merely because there was lack of communication, right, and collaboration between the business teams and COE. A lot of other times, I've seen um, COE team was not actually equipped with enough business knowledge to help the business teams to um, uh, make use of the tool efficiently, right? Now, what's the solution? Um, Federated structure, I would say. Now, federated structure is kind of a hybrid model, right? The centralized team remains as it is. However, we have specialized business SMEs, which are embedded into the COE, like satellite members. They are having some kind of a techno-functional role where they know that, okay, Power BI as a tool, they know the tool, they also know the data within their business teams. Though, so it works out um, quite well. With this approach, you can say accountability is distributed, and COE can share better informed guidance based on the scenarios, right? Let's talk about the journey, however. In my experience, I have seen it go through a three-phase journey, three stages: foundation, stabilization, and optimization. Now, the foundation stage is a phase where you know you start with drafting the COE charter. You have an executive sponsor who knows the vision and mission of the COE. You develop a strategy, you develop a service and the support model on how the COE will function. You chalk out the range of activities that you will do, the scope of responsibilities that you have within the team. You prioritize them accordingly. You recruit your SMEs, upskill them, and of course, the focus is on the next step of action, which is also called the go forward plan. The stabilization phase, the middle phase, is it's a never ending journey, I would say, because there's always new users coming in. The stabilization phase can, I don't think it can be ever achieved if you are running Power BI platform. But this phase involves going to the next level of people process technology. You get the people ramped up on the next level of understanding of Power BI, unlock the advanced features of Power BI, make them understand what the standard practices are, best practices are, um, give them tools, resources, knowledge base to work on, and uh, and of course give them an idea of what governance and security policies are that you have within the platform. um, One important point in this journey is also about how Power BI can be reached to its potential through research. Now, the COE team has a responsibility to unlock those powerful features through research and innovation, the new features that comes in every now and then in Power BI, right? So yeah, that's the stabilization phase. What's next? That's the third phase is operationalize phase, where you strategize how you communicate with your business teams, right? You strategize how you work with your infosec teams, your Office 365 teams, unlock the next level of interaction with the tool, understand scenarios, maybe have a POC with work with business teams, have a POC created on their business scenarios, etc. Right? No. Okay. So now that we have talked about the journey, let's talk about how to measure success within a COE team. And it's an important topic because COE is not generally a revenue generating team. You are not delivering something tangible. So it becomes difficult to measure. But since it's very important because you need to have confidence in the framework, whole program, whole framework, whole COE framework. It also gives leadership team an understanding of how much value you are providing to the whole business teams for continued support and investment in the team. Not only that, I think it's important to identify the area of strength and area of improvement, to better understand what should be your next steps. Yeah, how should you proceed next? Right, let's talk about certain KPIs. Yeah. Okay, so cost reduction and business impact. Maybe take number of instances where Power BI has made some impact. Maybe automation in your tool through automated solutions. You have moved from Excel to Power BI, automated refresh from your SharePoint, or maybe in um, find out cases where Power BI solution has improved some kind of sales strategy, decision making, etc. Now, how do you do that? Maybe you create a platform where you show successful projects, right? Um, of course, community building and knowledge sharing. Understand the level of engagement that you have, forums, communities. Gather stats on how many people are visiting your knowledge base, your central repository, number of visits, number of downloads. Understand your adoption metrics, right? How many people have created new dashboards, reports? How many authors have increased over the time period? Maybe number of increase of report views, report editing, etc. Or number of certified data sets maybe. That's a good measure. Um, Check user satisfaction. Number of support requests that has reduced over the time period. Type of support requests that have reduced is has such kind of requests become less, right? Like how do I install Power BI desktop? Same, right? How or number of standard practices, templates, best practices guidelines, or even checklists that you have provided to business teams, right? Training and skill development, that's an important KPI to measure throughout. Track the completion rates of the training program that you have put up. Track how many different personas have, upskilling into next level of program, next level of training that you have provided. And of course, compare the number of new attendees to the number of increase of authors or people who have made new dashboards or even views, report views, right? And one of the other important metrics, which I consider is also very important, is lowering the usage of other tools. So, as a COE, I think one of the responsibilities which is there is also about how much have you migrated from legacy tools to Power BI, or even Tableau to Power BI, or maybe BO to Power BI. Do you have those stats? Do you think that people have migrated to Power BI from Tableau, and the Tableau has less usage than Power BI? So that's a great metric. That's also a metric where you can understand some cost implications too. Yep, that's all that I had today. Thank you so much for your time and choosing to attend this session. Can you please share your feedback with this QR? Thank you.